Well, welcome everybody.
Hi,
this way.
and welcome to the Rant.
It's all part of the show, folks.
Steady Eddy Rant number 3.
Yes.
Yeah. And all the way from Gympie here, in the Sunshine State. And we've got Dave and Lyn from down Lake Macquarie Way.
Hi,
Hi, how you doing?
we're good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
That's good.
Yeah, it'd be even better if I could get a gig.
Yep,
Yeah,
we're hearing you.
we sympathise
Yep,
and
Yeah.
empathise. We know.
yep,
Just shocking at the moment, isn't it?
Terrible.
yeah, absolutely. They're all gone for the moment.
Yep.
So,
What can
And
we do?
every time you think you're getting somewhere, then another outbreak happens somewhere and it all starts again.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we did our gigs shut down on the 1st of March last year, and when
The whole year?
with the first lockdown. So that was it. We didn't have any gigs after that. And then we did 3
Weekends in a row with
This
our
year?
band, with our drummer.
and
Yeah.
then
Thought, you beauty.
yeah, then the second lockdown,
Happening.
second outbreak happened, and we got shut down again. So there it is.
And one by one, the gigs are dropping off because it's just extending. So it's it's pretty disheartening.
Yeah.
And how are you guys coping, like health and, like just mentally with all this? Because we are pretty fortunate, at least we can get around and out up here, but yeah.
Yeah, well, we're in total lockdown at the moment. We can only go out for essential food and stuff, and it has to be one person at a time. We can't even go to our local supermarket to do the shopping together at the moment. So it's a pretty tight lockdown. But we're lucky because we're a married couple. We've got each other. We really love our home here at Lake Macquarie. We've got a really nice music room set up. So we've just been writing and demoing and a bit of Netflixing.
And and jamming, and so
Yeah.
our music has really kept us going.
Exactly. So that's how the music's kept us kind of sane.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
We've never been totally sane.
No.
Well, it's so boring being sane, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the little boy. Like the little boy when his mum says to him, "What do you think you might like to do when you grow up?" And the little boy says, "I think I might like to be a musician." And his mum said, "Well, you can't do both. Grow up and be a musician."
Oh, gee.
Yeah. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Isn't it fun, everybody around you? They
I
want to
know, they want to tell me a joke. It's like,
know.
why?
You're the professional. We'll leave the rest to you, Eddy.
Absolutely. No more jokes from us, we promise.
Yeah, sure.
No,
Yeah.
we promise.
Well, just giving you a recap, like this is rant number 3. Rant number 1 was about that Steady Eddy was trying to get a disability pension.
Still am.
Still am, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was knocked back. So that's why we started the first rave.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why we're continuing on with the raves a bit, because, we get a bit more, more juice and a bit more. Where are we up to actually with your pension?
I don't know. Basically, the appeal hasn't started yet, so there's
Right.
an appeal coming up soon, a couple of weeks, I think.
By the 13th of September.
By the 13th of September, we have to have a meeting, conference call, blah, 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 with them. And I just went for my assessment through an OT last week. So
Yep.
she definitely agrees that my upper body is rooted. And so that should kick things along a bit. The reason I'm laughing is because in the report that they gave me, they said that my bottom half was disabled, but my bottom half, my both arms were totally fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was about my reaction too,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
but just with a bit more explicit words in the midst of it.
And no
I
wonder.
can imagine.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
It's just the way they do things now. And
Yeah.
I'm not the only one in the boat. What they want you to do is they want you to get rejected, feel rejected, and then they want you to go away. That's their idea.
That's wrong. That's
Make it
really
too
wrong.
hard.
They make it so difficult that they want you to give
Yeah.
up. And that defeats the whole purpose of Social Security and Centrelink. They're supposed to be there to help you, not only
Yeah.
physically, but also as far as mental health goes as well. And,
Yeah.
and at the moment, they're just contributing to the breakdown of mental health of people because of their bureaucratic ways.
Yeah.
And at this
Yeah.
point in time, I wish I could swear.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Like a
Yeah.
Really frustrating.
beep.
But I won't. I'll refrain.
You're fine. Good
Oh,
on you.
good on you.
Good on you, Eddie.
It is an M-rated show, so you know.
Yeah, we might do an R-rated show later on, I think. I definitely want to cut loose with these jokers.
Understandable.
And
Definitely.
Yeah.
today we've also said it's good that at least you're making steps anyway. With
Metaphorically, because I can't really make them physically.
That's right. So yeah, it's making way. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Look, and the other thing we were talking about is we're talking about mental health and everything like that, but it's about we're talking about apps and how apps are really dividing people up and stuff like that. And with them, we were talking about a bit about COVID, weren't we? And how much that seems to be dividing people more than the illness itself. It's a bit crazy.
Sure is.
And in several areas, like the borders, you're not able to, you can cross one side but you can't go back, and
Yeah.
how are the poor people in the Tweed there, where they're literally their borders across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know there was a barber shop down there, and they've got a on one side they've got one half of the barber shop is New South Wales, and the back end of it is Queensland.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
We've got a
That's
mate.
nuts.
We've got a muso mate that lives in Pottsville, and a lot of his gigs are on the Gold Coast, but it's just can't get to them.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll shift the border. Hopefully they'll let common sense prevail.
Oh, for God's sake. We're talking about the government here. Common sense and an IQ above 10 would be great. But we're never going to get that. And while we've got an imbecile like Scott Morrison as a Prime Minister, then we've got no chance whatsoever.
No, I was thinking about bringing in a boys' brigade or something,
No, I know Scott Morrison, and I knew him when I was young, and I'm going to repeat this. Now I know why there's strict gun laws in this country,
Yes.
and why I'm not allowed a firearm.
Yeah. You tell them.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we
Tell
can
them the
guess
story.
that.
Yep.
Well, the story doesn't matter, but well, no, he's just an imbecile.
I love the story.
And they may not have heard the story.
Okay, quickly recap of the story is I was in Boys Brigade with him when I was 15 years old, and I was about 14 years old, and I had a haircut and I got a rat's tail. And
Yep.
according to my captain, which was Scott's father, that a rat's tail wasn't becoming of a non-commissioned officer in Boys Brigade, so had to have it cut off. And they did that by Scott and another guy holding me down while they cut it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
So
That's pretty rugged.
that was
Yeah.
our Prime Minister saying he's never been a bully.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's not a good memory to have, is it?
No. not at all.
No, it's not, but it just goes to show that the guy is full of it and he's been lying to the whole country and telling people that he's one thing and he's really another thing.
Yes. So,
You know, and I think that's been happening a lot in this country over the last couple of years. You know, all the misinformation that we've had through Scott Morrison and the like is dividing this country so much.
the division is just like we spoke about the borders, and how about that woman? She tried, was it 4 or 5 times to cross the border?
Right.
From where though?
It was in country New South Wales into Queensland,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I've been trying to sneak over and yeah.
but I think it was 4 or 5 times she got caught. One of them, she was
Yep.
in the back of her car, in the boot of her car, and with all the furniture and everything, and it was on the back of a towing truck.
Oh, really?
That was number 3 or 4. It happened, and it was so funny because apparently the copper said to her, "Oh, do you know that it's an offence for you to be doing this?" And she's like, "No, this is natural for me to be basically in the boot of a car."
Well, I mean, everybody does that, don't they?
So here's a question for you. Does the driver of the car get 3 points to merit because she didn't have a belt on?
Well,
Good point.
absolutely.
Just wondering there.
He'd probably get fined for moving livestock at least.
Without a license.
Without a license, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And I couldn't believe after that she got caught again trying to cross. She really,
Tenacious.
yes.
Nah, just stupid. I mean, come on, 5 times. You reckon once you would get over.
How would you try and get across?
Why would I want to leave Queensland?
Yeah, because you couldn't
Well,
get back.
Exactly.
Why would I want to go the other way?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But say were you in New South Wales wanting to come into Queensland, how would you try?
Why would I want to come into Queensland?
Well, if we don't have the COVID up here. It's sunny. They're having bad weather down there, and
All that.
cold.
And I got to tell you guys, we were going to be up there next weekend for Father's Day because our eldest son and his family live in North Lakes near Brisbane, and our daughter and her family, husband and daughter live in Sunshine Coast, and we were coming up this week to spend next
We
weekend
were.
with them, and that's
Gone.
we both can't fit in the boots, so we won't be coming. So
Get a bigger boot.
Get a bigger boot.
yeah, no, so yeah, it's that's frustrating.
That is.
Yeah.
So,
We've only cleared that.
if you, I wonder if you put yourself in a big crate and post yourself, whether you would get here.
Interesting question. Might be a bit uncomfortable, but
Yeah,
you know.
probably dead.
Yeah. Might need a few holes in there to breathe and
Yeah,
stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
well, yeah, you'd need that.
You know,
And I mean,
yeah, but then again, knowing Australia Post, it might end up anywhere.
We'd be lucky
I was
to,
going to say,
lucky to get there by Christmas.
It'd be a cheap way to go out to Hawaii, because that's where you probably end up.
well, yep,
Yep, via Tokyo.
Tokyo. Yes, so
Crazy.
so there's all the borders, you know, and everybody's got their own cup of tea with it all and that. And then
Yep.
what about, like, you know, because there seems to be a great divide also with the want to have shots and the want to not have shots, and you're getting a lot of information and misinformation, and
Yep.
it's creating a lot of a lot of grief between some family members and friends. What I've
Yep.
seen, the vitriolous stuff on Facebook, you know, whoa, from both sides of it, you know, it's been,
Yeah.
you know, pretty
Oh,
nasty,
horrible.
and I'm,
yeah,
you know,
Probably the most,
really nasty.
the most divisive thing we've ever seen
Yeah,
on social media. And as you say, James, you know, families and friends that have, you know, friends that have known each other for years are now at each other's throats because they don't agree with the vax or whether to vax or not to vax. And it's really divided the nation in a big way
But
yeah.
why?
but why?
because people are so passionate about it one way or the other. I think, Eddie, it's like, and there's no sort of, it's really become one of those, my way's right and I'm not listening to you because I've done my research.
Yeah,
And that's, you know, so it's polarising, you know.
Yeah.
So we stay right away from it on social media because, you know, we've been vaxxed because we're over 60, we're both asthmatic and we both have hypertension, and our GPs strongly advised us to do it when it was first available, so we did, just for peace of mind. But you know, but we don't get out and, you know, jump on our soapbox and tell
No.
everybody they got to get vaxxed.
No,
That's-
we're comfortable with our decision because
Yeah.
it was the right thing for us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And
you know, other people there are so many people who are really aggro about it and aggressive
but
about it.
there
And
has been so much misinformation out there as well. Which is,
definitely,
so-
yeah, it's been, I think
Yeah.
that's been the cesspool of it all, is the misinformation, unfortunately.
yes,
Yeah.
for
What's
sure.
your take
Yeah,
on that?
and it's in
Steve?
part of the lyrics of our song "Lockdown Lunacy" is about, you know, keyboard warriors and misinformation. You know, people doing their research, but unfortunately, there's so much rubbish on the internet as well, and so much rubbish on Google that, you know, it's
Well, that's the problem right there. They're
Yeah.
looking for intelligent information on Google.
Yeah,
I know.
Seriously, I
up to
mean, if
Google.
you want the facts, then go to the World Health Organization, go
That's
to the
right.
bodies that are actually on the front line of this stuff, not
Yeah.
some imbecile who was an imbecile before this started, but now he's a bigger imbecile with a little bit of power. And that's what's happening. They've got a little bit of power because people are bored and they want something to watch. So they're watching all these imbeciles that know absolutely nothing about what they're talking about,
Yeah.
and they're saying this is gospel. And
Yeah.
it's
That's
not
right.
gospel, it's them, people with low IQs, trying to figure out something that even the geniuses can't figure out at the moment.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
So many people are experts out there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, then it's,
Because
yeah,
they've done their research.
But this is only the latest thing. This has happened every decade there's something else that happens. You know, this decade it's COVID. A couple of decades ago it was AIDS. A couple of decades before that it was something else. Yeah,
Yeah.
SARS. So you're always going to have these no-hopers spreading fear. But unfortunately now, because of the day and the age of the World Wide Web and apps and all that sort of stuff, these imbeciles are actually getting credence. They're getting time and people are listening to them.
And
Yeah.
imagine if
Yeah.
if COVID had hit us 50 years ago, before the internet and before mobile phones and that.
Well, we were talking about that. We'd be getting the jab, getting over it, and getting back to life.
Yeah.
Whether you believe in it or you don't believe in it, this is just me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get the jab.
Yeah.
we
Just,
totally agree.
yeah, but just get it, get over it.
Yeah.
Now, if 80% of this country had the jab, then we could be gigging again.
That's
Yep.
right.
That's our view too, Eddie. Absolutely.
And we wouldn't have all this lockdown lunacy, would we? Speaking
That's right.
speaking of which, let's have a listen to you got it there, Stefan? Let's see if we can bring it up.
That'd be great.
Put on the news, everything's stopping. Thought to myself, better go shopping. Toilet paper, panic buying, empty shelves, people crying. Lockdown lunacy. Lockdown lunacy. Man on the street, I'm with Glen 20. Someone comes near, sprays him with plenty. Told you stay home, so head to the beach. Spreading germs as far as they'll reach. Lockdown lunacy. Lockdown lunacy. Special kind of stupid, special kind of dumb, special kind of stupid, special kind of dumb, special kind of stupid, special kind of dumb, special kind of stupid, special kind of dumb. Wear your mask, keep your distance. It's not that hard, but so much resistance. Keyboard warriors, misinformation. Dr. Google, give them heavy sedation. Lockdown lunacy. 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 Lockdown lunacy.
Good
I
stuff,
done my research.
Yep,
And
and that,
what was that line about the WD-40?
no, there was actually a guy nearby here who was on the street. So a man on the street armed with Glen 20, and it
Oh, Glen
only
20.
happened
Thank goodness.
2 weeks ago, and anybody who came within 1.5 metres of him, he was spraying them with Glen 20.
He was like, I've got a can of Glen 20 and I'm not afraid to use it. So he was spraying them.
Get away from the
We
can.
just thought it was hilarious. He'd done his research.
Yeah.
Was he wearing a mask?
Oh, I don't know.
No.
We've been trying to see if anyone had any video footage of it, but no one's. But it's become a bit of an urban legend in Lake Macquarie after only 2
But
weeks.
yeah, but it actually happened.
Yeah.
People actually saw him doing it, and I thought that's just too good. That's got to be included in lockdown lunacy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think about all that? Steady Eddie? He's speechless, yeah.
Oh, man.
When he got his tongue.
But just the thing about when lockdown was announced, we were actually going for our second jabs at a doctor's surgery near a shopping centre, and we couldn't find a park because the lockdown had just been announced. Our jabs were at 1:30 and lockdown started at 5. And it was just going absolutely crazy. And, you know, people loaded up with their toilet paper and everything. And a friend's son took a photo of the bread shelves in Coles, and they were completely stripped bare. And it's like, it's not as if the shops are closing. And you can still get home delivery and click and collect and all the rest of it, but they just go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like a mob of ants when you stamp near their feet, they all go.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll go weird.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a human condition, eh?
Panic.
Dumb and dumber.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
definitely.
of all the things, you know, and it's always stuck in my craw, dirty paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like if you think about everything that you could hoard,
Yep.
why dirty paper?
Oh no, it's so ridiculous.
You know, it's
ridiculous.
like, and cake mix.
Cake mix, yeah.
Yeah.
Flour, gone.
Like people that have never ever made a cake in their life are now buying cake mix.
Yeah.
For what?
All of a sudden, they're all Margaret Fulton.
they wouldn't know what to do with it.
I know, just crazy. Yeah, the flour thing, as you say, and pasta sauces and just. But the main beeline seems to be the toilet paper first. It's like.
Yeah, well, there was a mechanic down the road here, and service came with 2 packets of two packets of toilet paper with every service. True.
There you go.
A grease and oil change and two rolls of sorbent.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Who got the grease and oil change, you or your car? Is that why you needed the toilet paper?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, probably.
Good point.
Oh. Yeah, and the other thing, you know, it's like all the social media and friends, you know, exiting from friends on Facebook, you know, left, right and centre, but just done so viciously. It's so sad. But it's, I know of several situations of families that have got that great divide now too, you know.
Yeah.
Our sound producer, he has a, he, you know, it's hard to speak with your folks, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's,
But I don't see why. This is the thing that life still goes on.
Yeah.
You know, and let's put it in the grand scheme of things for a moment, that life goes on, there's still people and children dying of starvation in the world, there's still people being made into child soldiers in parts of the world, and so on and so forth, and we're worried about getting a jab in dunny paper.
Yeah.
Now,
Says it all.
if you put it in that perspective, well, I think we're being a little bit pedantic about the whole situation.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Just
but-
a bit.
yeah, like, and adding on to your list there, like, you know, they don't bring up the road tolls anymore much, I notice.
No, and the fact of, I see they've kept the death toll of the flu.
Oh, it's nil this year.
Virtually quiet, and that's what is it? A couple of thousand people die every couple of years from it,
Yeah, it was about 700 last year.
and like things like that, we don't blink an eye at.
And how many people die from cancer every day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
But I mean, the flu season, I think, has largely been because people have been aware of their own personal sanity. They are sanitising their hands, washing their hands, wearing masks and everything, and those flu viruses aren't passing around.
well, except if you walk through Gympie Centro, the big shopping centre, you've got to duck and weave all the people coughing.
Oh, really?
There's no COVID, but there's a lot of flu in
yeah,
Gympie
but
right now.
here we right, mate.
Yeah.
Here we
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
We can't go anywhere here without, even when we walk around our neighbourhood, just walking our dog and it's a quiet neighbourhood, we have to wear our masks.
Yeah.
So,
And we've got friends that have spent basically all winter up in Cairns, Port Douglas. They're from Newcastle, and they said, you know, you just wouldn't know COVID existed up there. And whereas here, it's really strict. It's like
it's really in our face.
we're under the thumb every day. But it has to be the way it is if we're going to get out of this, because we know New South Wales daily cases numbers are still rising. So
Yeah, it was over 1,200 today.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know the other day it was up to 700.
And look, the bottom line that both sides of the fence sort of agree to disagree on, but it's, and I've heard ministers and of the government is saying, look, the bottom line of the vaccination is basically to keep the our health system going, basically.
Right, yeah.
And because it minimises, having the vaccination minimises to most people their effects when they get it.
So let's think about this for a minute, right? If you've got a kid, right, you can't send your kid to a public school unless they've been immunised.
In most schools,
In
yes.
most schools,
Yep,
right?
Yep.
So basically, we've already got it in our head that our kids need to be immunised. So why can't we get it into our heads that we need to be immunised? You know, it makes... Look, even if it works or doesn't work, that's not the point. The point is it would make society flow a whole lot easier again if people just bit the bullet and did what they're asked to. And we're supposed to be an altruistic society and care about our fellow man and woman. And how are we doing that if we're not even contemplating getting the jab or jumping up and down on the spot because we've got to wear a bloody mask?
Yeah.
It's a mask, for God's sake. It's not like anything really bad that's going to kill you. It's a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What's the big deal?
Yep.
Yeah. So frustrating.
I totally agree.
I think I've got to get Chris, steady Eddie. I've got to get you a swear bucket. You can, you know.
I haven't sworn yet, and I tell you, it's been pretty close a couple of
I know
times.
you're doing very well.
Yeah, excellent. Good job.
Great control. Great control.
Oh, yeah, I don't normally have this much control.
Except when you go to the no.
No, shut up.
Yeah, but it is just so frustrating because, you know, we felt like we were getting the jab not only for ourselves, but for our fellow Australians, to keep our fellow Australians safe as well. You know, if we do happen to get it, well, we're not going to end up in ICU, and the symptoms would be so much milder that you're not going to spread it if you do, and certainly not if you're wearing a mask.
And the Eddies go, you know, you can still spread it. If you've been vaccinated and you get it, you can still spread it. We know that. We've been vaxxed. If we happen to get it, we'd be doing the isolation thing
Oh, absolutely.
until we got the all clear, and we would be doing that. We certainly wouldn't be going out thinking, well, because we've been vaxxed and we've got COVID. But we would realise that we could still spread it, and we would isolate. So that's not rocket science,
But
is it?
Well, just because you have the flu shot doesn't mean you're not going to get the flu.
Yeah.
Yeah. but
It just
you
means
are.
you get hopefully less, and less of an extreme case than if you didn't have the flu shot.
Mind you, I was one of the poor people that I was in the minority. I had a flu shot and I was so crook for 5 months.
Yeah.
But that, you know, that's, I'm not saying that happens to everybody because it doesn't, but I was one of the lucky ones that drew the ticket saying, sorry mate, it's going to affect you pretty bad, and it did.
Yeah.
And I haven't had one
We've got
since.
a mate that happened to as well with the flu shot.
Yeah, unfortunately there are numbers, there are people, you know, that are going to get affected.
There's always going to be a small percentage that do, unfortunately.
Yeah, I heard a very sad
And
story.
We can't, you know, but what do we do?
Yep, a friend of mine I bumped into just the other day, his the friends, because of the boys that they've got, the sons, was actually on their way about a month ago to visit them, and a healthy lady in early 60s, had her first jab, and it was 16 days later she was driving to Gympie, and she dropped dead at the wheel. So,
Really?
you know, unfortunately she drew she drew the bad ticket, you know, but
that is tragic.
But thankfully, it is a very, very, very small.
that's right, it's a very small percentage, and more
It
people
is
would
good.
die from COVID, from my understanding, if they weren't vaccinated than if, you know.
Yeah.
But it's also the same sort of, to me anyway, the same sort of logic as getting chemo. You know,
Yeah.
Chemo helps some people, it doesn't help all people, and in
Yeah.
a few cases, it can kill them.
Yeah,
and
that's
and
right.
that's with something that we've known, like
Yeah.
chemotherapy for what, 30, 40 years now?
Yeah.
And we just take that in our stride and go, that's how it is. But for some
Yeah.
reason, we're not doing that when it comes to COVID.
Yeah.
For some reason, our brain is just, the logic factor has switched off, and the
Yeah.
panic mode has gone on.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people, rightfully so, want to blame the government in a lot of areas because we've been so...
Because they are to blame, because Scott Morrison couldn't roll it out quick enough.
Yeah. I think it comes all the way back to you getting your rat tail cut off. He said, I'll get you one day, boy.
Unfortunately, though, there has been a lot of vaccine go to waste because we personally know of people who have made appointments to get it and then have been no shows, and they've done that on a few occasions. And people who have actually just been in a doctor's office and they've said, look, would you like it now? Because we have this vaccine ready and we're just going to have to destroy it because it has a certain shelf life.
Yeah.
So a lot of vaccines have gone to waste as well. We know of one woman who did that 3 times and just cancelled, just didn't show up 3 times in a row. And, you know, if the doctor's surgery didn't have somebody who needed it at that time, they just had to ditch it,
Wow.
which is really wrong.
It's a waste.
Yeah.
Total
Yeah.
waste.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys got your guitar there? Have you got another song for us in this, you know, let's just...
Yeah, we can give you another
Let's just
song.
ice break this right now, and you got another
Yeah, probably.
interesting
Have we
song?
got any people writing to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much trouble am I in?
Oh,
It's good to be in trouble.
Oh,
She comes and
Absolutely.
You know I do it on purpose.
Makes things more interesting, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. See, if they're pissed off at me, at least they're not going on about COVID.
You'll take the fall.
Oh, I got broad shoulders. So what do they say?
No,
I'm
you're
the computer's
safe.
fine about it. Just got
Majority
to
are
get us on the air again.
Cool. How about the ones that aren't?
It's working.
That should be right.
Yeah.
Yep,
No,
sounds
they're
like we've got a signal.
green.
Huh?
All right, what do you got
So
for
we'll
us,
run-
David Lyn?
Well, this is the first song we wrote in lockdown last year, and we're just coming out of the studio speakers. There's nothing going direct, so we just hope the mix is okay. There's no mics. Lynn's going to be singing
Cool.
directly into the computer, and
Great.
so this one's called Flipside because we wrote this about coming out the other end of this damn thing, in which we thought we'd be well and truly there by now, but
Yeah, we did.
we're not. So this song is like, it's over 12 months old, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a sort of a song about positivity about, you know, when the world is ours again, you know, see you on the flip side.
So we hope the mix is okay. And we got our Beat Buddy drum machine here because we can't play with our drummer Mick. He's in Sydney, and we did 3 gigs with him early in the year, as we said, and then bang, we can't see him again at the moment. So
So
anyway,
it's
this is
great to get in and record these properly. We've only sort of recorded demos at home, and
yeah. See you on the flip side.
see you on the flip side. When the world is ours again, see you on the flip side. We'll have a party then, coming out of the darkness into the light. We'll start breathing, no need to hide on the flip side. See you on the flip side. Crazy world turned upside down. No one knows what's going round. Wrong information, aggravation, worry and fear. It's a bad situation. What we need is a turn of the tide.
See you on the flip side. When the world is ours again, see you on the flip side. We'll have a party then.
Coming out of the darkness into the light. We'll start breathing, no need to hide.
On the flip side, see you on the flip side.
Darkness cities all across the world. The great unknown starts to unfold. Isolation, no motivation. People snap with no provocation. What we need is a brand new day.
See you on the flip side. When the world is ours again, see you on the flip side. We'll have a party then.
Coming out of the darkness
flip side. See you on the flip side. See you on the flip side. When the world is ours again, see you on the flip side. We'll have a party then. Coming out of the darkness into the light. We'll start breathing, no need to hide. On the flip side. See you 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 on the flip side. I hope that mix was okay.
It was great.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It was good.
You guys haven't just formed a band in the last few years, have you?
No.
No, you've been
well,
around a bit, both of you, haven't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take that.
Been around the block a few times.
We've been around a bit together.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And what's your background there, Dave? I hear some distinct flavours in your guitar work.
Well, mate, I've been playing for when am I, 66? I've been playing for 52 years. I had my first band when I was 14, growing up here in Newcastle. And then I joined a band, I was in a band called Marshall Brothers in 1974. We did an album, and then I joined a local Newcastle band called Rabbit, who our lead singer was...
We're on Countdown and
We did all that stuff, yeah. Our lead singer was Dave Evans, who was the first singer in AC/DC before Bon. Dave did one single with AC/DC, and then he got ousted by the Youngs, and Bon came in. But yeah, that was Rabbit. That was in 76, 77. Then I was in a band from Sydney called Finch, and we released an album called Contraband. And then after that, around about 80, I moved up the coast to Port Macquarie for what was going to be a 6-month sea change, and I ended up staying there for 40 years. So I had a studio up there and some bands and stuff. And Lyn and I got together up there in 95.
Yep.
And put together, first of all, a duo called Balance, and then Bounty Hunters in 2003, I think.
7?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. And we've had Bounty Hunters ever since. We've released 3 albums and a EP. So
And originals.
that's basically the story of 52 years in a nutshell.
Now, you mentioned AC/DC. Now, someone told me that before they went on the track they did, they were bordering on being a glam rock band.
That's true, because that was Dave's. If you see some of the early photos, that was Dave's influence, I think, a lot. But there are photos of them playing at I think it was a big park in Sydney, an outdoor show. And they did their first gig at Checkers nightclub in Sydney, and Dave used to wear this red and white candy striped satin jacket, like a real glam thing. And even Malcolm was wearing like the platform boots and stuff. And Angus always had the uniform going on from a very early stage. That his system used to make his schoolboy uniforms for him. And but yeah, they did. They were like, you see the first early photos of them, they were glam. And then it was like when Dave got the golden handshake, and Bon came in, because Bon had the real macho swagger about him. Then they just went for that tough look after that. But yeah.
And then Rabbit was definitely glam rock.
Oh,
There are photos
yeah.
of David in his tights.
I want to see those photos.
We can organise
Oh
that.
man, that was the 70s, man. It's like
Yeah, he had long red hair.
6-inch platform boots and ballet tights, and oh god. But you know, I'm not a good looking spandex these days, that's for sure.
No.
Neither am I, mate.
Too funny. Yeah. But the 70s were they were a great era. We did a lot of touring. We became good mates with Ted Murray, poor old Ted, rest in peace, Ted. We did a 3-month tour with TMG in 76, right around Australia. And then when I was in Finch, we did another one with Dragon in 78, right around Australia, 3 months on the road. We did 6 gigs with Status Quo, supporting Status Quo. That was amazing. But they were amazing days. There was lots of work. We were working 5 or 6 nights a week,
How times have changed.
lots of gigs everywhere.
I remember the 90s, and I think in 94 I was doing 6 shows a week
Yeah,
for 9
Yep.
months of the year.
yeah.
Yeah,
There was heaps and heaps and heaps of work.
Yeah.
I remember being on the
Yes.
Carlton circuit. Remember the Carlton circuit? We had
Yeah.
gigs 6 nights a week. Midnight Express was one band.
Yeah.
I was in a band in Newcastle and it was called Left Right Out
that's
Okay.
right.
in the late 70s, and we did the Salamander, and we did
Oh yeah,
the Stroud pub, Gloucester pub, and we had a circuit,
Yep.
5 nights
Yep.
a week, permanent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And like Newcastle's always had an amazing live scene. As I said, I was born and bred here, and had played my first bands here, and there were heaps of gigs, heaps of bands, heaps of gigs. And as Lynn said, we moved down from Port Macquarie in 2019 because most of our work was Newcastle, Central Coast, Sydney. So we were spending most weekends driving up and down the coast, and we thought, what are we doing? Let's just go there where all the work is, because Port was, it was
Not much happening
not much
up there.
happening.
No.
Lots of work with duos and solos,
Yeah.
but not much band work. So we came down in 2019, and
For all these gigs. We
Then
had
they-
all these wonderful gigs lined up,
and then they stopped.
Bang.
gone.
Yeah,
Yep.
but we're still here.
We are.
We're hanging in.
And
We are.
the Minister of the Arts
Yeah, which we didn't know there was one.
No,
till after
no.
Somebody told me.
decided that we as entertainers don't deserve a bailout package.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
But who's
Yeah.
the first ones they come to when they want money raised for
Yeah.
fuels and everything?
Yeah,
You can't have things both ways, can you?
no.
no.
Well, that was our last gig in 2020, was a fundraiser for the fire victims,
Yeah.
and all bands came together and gave of their time and
Yep.
everything to raise money for them, because,
Yep.
that's what we do, we support other people and everything, and yet
Yeah, and then we
it's
don't.
sort of not reciprocal, is it?
No.
Yeah.
No, I reckon, there is a band that just, I saw it on the news that they got a grant to go play at rugby matches so they could be playing.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah.
I've
All
actually,
right, Mum.
I've
In
actually,
Queensland. Yeah, they're doing a tour.
I'm in the middle of putting in a grant at the moment.
Yeah, what grant are you putting in
with
for?
Jolly, a mate of mine called Jolly Jingo. We have a duo called the Jingo Brothers, and
Right.
our grant is to be playing in prisons.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
actually a big circuit that I don't
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
know about. So
Yeah.
we're actually putting in the grant, and we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Bit of a worry knowing you and Jingo.
Either I'll be playing there
And
or
staying
I'll
there.
be in there. Depends if I get my 5 minutes with Morrison or not.
Make sure you get your pass out, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Get out of jail free card, mate.
Yeah.
Definitely don't collect $200.
I did a gig in a prison years ago, and the opening line was, "Okay, which one of you bastards broke into my house and stole me stereo?"
have been a good icebreaker.
Yeah, it was the what do you call them? The security officers weren't real happy. But,
Really?
yeah, because the inmates were actually having fun.
Oh yeah, not allowed, apparently.
Yeah. Fun
Fun
police.
police.
That's another one of our songs, the Fun Police.
What's that about?
Fun police strike again.
Yep.
Yep.
We were doing a gig in when we were living up the coast. We were doing a gig at Laurelton Hotel on a Sunday afternoon, and it was a really nice. It was a great gig. Beautiful weather, lovely spring or summer day, whatever it was. We were playing out on the veranda, and like this pub's in the main drag of the town, right? So, and we were just using really small gear. We weren't playing loud. And the local fishing club, we had a presentation thing there, and there were heaps of people there having a great afternoon, just a really great vibe. And but we're getting noise complaints from the
Because
retirement village
the
next
pub
door.
has been there since 1900, and some bright spark decided to build a retirement village right next door to it. And this pub is renowned for having entertainment.
Yeah.
And so
We actually got asked to play another set because it was just
it was going
it was
on.
going so well. But we went to get our money from the publican the next day, and we said, sorry about the noise problems. He said, oh, it wasn't you
It's not
guys.
you.
He said, you guys were perfectly fine with your volume. He says, mate, he said, the fun police are always going to have a whinge and spoil your day. So we thought, yeah, fun police.
Fun police, got to do something with that.
So, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
we've got the fun police up here too, aren't they? They're everywhere.
right.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
enjoy, having their meters. And I remember,
Yeah.
I remember playing up in Cairns and at the Courthouse Hotel.
Yeah.
We weren't
Yep.
even. We were playing at about 80 decibels, which was,
Yeah. Nothing.
in front of 200 people or something.
Yeah.
And so this guy, nobody liked him in town. It was a big security guard, and he was out to get you. So I was
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
the sound, playing keys and doing the sound. And every
Yeah.
time he got I could see him, he'd get the thing out. And as he started, he'd take the meter from 3 metres from the reading, 3 metres from the speaker. And as I saw him coming, I'd pull the volume down lower and lower and lower. And he'd be there and he'd be tapping it, shaking his head. Then as he walked away, I'd slowly bring the volume back up again.
Love it. Love it. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
terrible, those things. What about the ones that cut your power off?
Oh, yes. Twanton RSL. Yes,
Right.
you've got the
Yep.
3, it's like the
Got the
green is
traffic
good,
light.
orange is watch out, red you got 10 seconds, and then boom,
Yep.
that's it.
I had the power cut out on me one night from one of those. I just kept going.
Yeah.
I just kept going without a microphone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until it came back on.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway,
They're terrible, those things.
Oh, it's so intimidating too.
it can be. Look, we could rave on and rant on again, but our time has come already. Apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Goodness.
Where did that go?
That
I
went
know.
fast.
So, Steady Eddie, what have you got to say in as a finale? Anything,
As a finale.
or anything,
Oh man, it's like it's pretty simple, isn't it? Life's pretty simple if you look at it. Try and be courteous to the person sitting next to you or down the barrel of camera, and
Yep.
and don't. If you weren't fighting with someone before COVID, why start now?
Yeah, exactly.
Good point.
Exactly.
It's not
That makes
rocket
sense.
science here.
No.
Life's,
Definitely not.
life's too short. And if you're going to, like in 10, 20 years, some of us won't be here, and there'll be another generation or something finding something else to go on about.
Yeah, that's
You know?
true.
Why? Just
human
enjoy,
connection.
enjoy your time here and try and act civil to one another.
Yeah. What the world needs today.
Unless you learn Scott Morrison. Then you can say
could be
whatever you want.
Funny, but yeah.
So thanks, guys, for
Yeah,
joining us.
thanks for joining us.
Thank you for all the comments
Pleasure.
through. Well, we've been having
our
comments
pleasure.
through on the Facebook page and that too. So it's great, and
Great.
we'll be back
2
again
weeks.
in 2 weeks. We might have a new day because our poor production manager is he comes from one job straight to here, and yeah, we might.
Yeah.
But anyway, look,
That
lovely
was our
to have you
Prime
on board with
Minister
us.
saying he's never
Thank
been
you.
a bully.
What? Never.
No,
Thanks-
thank you for
thanks,
having
guys.
us on.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
good.
thanks,
really
Dave.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it, eh? Thanks
Yeah,
a
it's
lot.
great
Yeah.
catching up with what's happening down in the bunkers down there.
Fun police are always gonna, have a
Well,
whinge and spoil your
We'll
day.
give you
Fun police are always.
give you a report from the trenches.
Yes, good one.
Excellent.
And we'll
Thanks,
leave it our
guys.
production manager. What have you got to end with us there, Stefan? So see you later, everybody.
That was our Prime Minister saying he's never been a bully.
There, guys.
We're worried about getting a jab and funny paper. And we're worried about getting a jab and dunny paper.